Welcome to Teen Up, a podcast that digs deeper into the thoughts of teenagers' mind about the wonders of the world.
If you're new here, I'm your host, Isabella.
And I'm Glenn. If you're not, welcome back.
Here is a quick disclaimer. We are two teenagers that are doing our best to research everything. However, we are not experts, so if we offend anyone or say something wrong, we want to apologize in advance. Please email us to tell us what was wrong. Thank you. This week, we will explore more on the difference between animal intelligence and human intelligence.
So last week, we kind of touched base on this, right? Like the intelligence of animal, the intelligence of human. But this week, I just feel like we can dig into this a little bit more. So let's look at some animals. You know, why are humans so special? Are we special? Like, are we really that special? So let's look at honeybee. It's like a very, very famous example. I feel like I've seen this in a lot of places. So in this article, it says that honeybees can count up to 4. Wow, right?
Wait, you mean 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Imagine this. They're so tiny, but they can have the idea of 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, how many can you count up? I mean, probably like billions, but like actually count up.
I guess, yeah.
And they can like read this complex science and learn from observation and talk to each other in secret code. So you know that in biology class, we talked about how bees have this kind of dance.
Right.
So basically they dance like maybe like an 8 and they'll be like, oh, you gotta go right. You know, stuff like that. So it's basically saying that they have the intelligence to understand that, to learn that and understand that and, you know, do the corresponding response.
Right.
And, you know, when they are out and about, they can weigh up the distance to different flowers. So they have the idea of distance. They have this spatial awareness.
Like 3D?
Yeah. Because they know like how far they should go to the flowers, to go back to their hive. And they have a structured society, which is super impressive if you think of it. Like they're so tiny, but they have queen, they have work bees, they have like all that stuff.
They have to take care of the babies, right? All that stuff.
Right. And all of them has different responsibilities in the hive.
Right.
And you know their hive, another interesting thing. It's in hexagon, right?
Right.
Like how do they know that it's the most efficient way of packing? Like how do they know?
That's interesting. I guess through adaptation and, environmental changes.
Yes, but they are aware of it. Like they have the intelligence to like build this whole thing up, which is like super impressive.
Right.
And their hive has like good air conditioning. And these good air conditioning helps them to collect honey from hot water, like in summer.
Oh, wow.
But like this is so unbelievable because they are so tiny. And you know what? Human brains has nearly 100,000 times as many neurons as the bee brain.
Wow. Wait, wow.
We're not 100,000 times smarter, but they can do all that kind of stuff with that tiny brain. Very impressive.
Then wouldn't you say that ants are smart as well because they have their own colony and a hierarchy too?
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty impressive. Like a lot of nature things are impressive.
Right. A lot of those things are like instincts and stuff.
Right, totally.
It's really cool.
But to be honest, ants are more annoying. So that's probably why people talk about bees. It's just better. Anyways, let's go to the next animal. So the next one is called macaques. Basically something like a monkey, if you don't know. They don't have a lot crazy stuff because monkeys already does a lot. But what's impressive is that they know how to like pick up stones to crack nuts, which means they know how to use a tool.
Oh, I think I have heard of this one.
Yeah, but if you think of it, early humans knows how to use a tool. Like it's one like big step forward, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think of it that way, then it's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Like how their intelligence and how they're able to do that.
Maybe they're taking over the world or something. I don't know.
But like, if you think of that, why are humans so intelligent? Like, nobody can really explain that.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we smarter? Because basically, we start in the same place.
Right.
We used to crack nuts with stones. Now we just buy them from supermarkets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the process there, right? That's what we're trying to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
So another animal is New Caledonian crows.
Okay.
So they can craft hooks from sticks, and it helps them to pick up foods. They know how to use tools as well.
Are these a type of bird, right?
Yeah, I think they probably use their legs or like hands.
Or their beaks?
Yeah, probably. Another one, I wouldn't say it's very impressive. It's chimp in Zambia. So this was like I'm not sure if it's like an experiment or like a observation. So basically somebody saw that one chimp was caught wearing a tuft of grass in her ear.
Okay.
And, they looked into that and found out there's no exact reasons other than to look good. So
What? That's so smart.
So basically like earrings, if you think of that.
Uh-huh.
So chimps know how to dress themselves up. And they know to learn from others. So other chimps start dressing like that.
Uh-huh.
They copied her.
Wow.
It is just like human, right?
Like a trend.
Yeah, totally. It's like fashion. And researchers that saw this, they interpret it as a form of cultural expression. So it's their culture, like wearing grass in ears. It's so impressive because when we think of what humans are different, we think that, oh, we have culture, we have language, we can do all this and that.
Uh-huh.
But honestly, animals can do that too.
Right.
I mean, it's very like basic level tool and stuff. But if you think of it, like we used to do that. We came from there.
Uh-huh.
They are there. But what stopped them from evolving into what we are right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you think it is?
I don't know. Maybe I have no idea. Maybe they're more domesticated. Like, I don't know. Like cats are more wild than dogs. Or like they're harder to train than dogs.
Oh, you remind me that I saw this video on TikTok.
Uh-huh.
It's like a joke. It's like if you touch the wrong place of a cat, it's gonna scratch you. But if you slap a dog, it's still gonna ask you if you want to play catch. And somebody actually did that and filmed a video. Anyways, super off topic. But I guess what you said could be, but what I think,
Uh-huh.
because there's no right answer for this, right? Like if you want to say it in a science standpoint, I guess scientists would just say it's statistic or it's probability.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But what I think, not proven, what I think is that humans are created, like I said in the first season.
Right.
Because it is so hard to grasp this kind of idea. Like, how on earth are we different? Like, we basically came from there, from our understanding.
Right.
But what made us that much better? Or maybe we're not better. I mean, we're probably better in some ways. What made us better in, technology, making all this stuff? Like, can you imagine we build cities? I basically cannot imagine this. Like, it's so hard to understand because if you think of the building that's building probably next to your house, it's like, yeah, they're just building. It's nothing special. But when you look at the whole city, how did that happen?
Right. Even the fact that humans were able to build wheels, like, I don't know. Wheels are something that amaze me. Like, because that makes a lot of things a lot easier, transportation or just carrying one thing to another place. It makes the whole process quicker, more efficient, and less energy, less consumed.
From a physics standpoint, that's probably not right, but
Sorry.
whatever.
Okay. Yeah, wheels. And like languages. That is also a very interesting part.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get into that later.
Oh, really? Okay.
But let's think about this. Like, that's why I said that humans are created, right? Because we don't know where we come from, and it's like so fascinating. Like I said,
Right.
how cities are built, like, it's from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Literally nothing. Like, it just,
Grew.
yeah. Anyways, so I guess I'll just carry on to
Okay.
what people think the real reason is. So, humans obviously have bigger brains,
Mm-hmm.
right? So bigger brains help us to remember things. And one thing that it really does help us, it's scientifically proven, is that it helps us multitask.
Oh, mm-hmm.
So bees, for example, when they look at an environment, they're gonna understand things one by one.
Mm-hmm.
So if you walk in a room, there's a lamp, there are 4 walls, maybe a computer or, lights and stuff. They understand it one by one. But when we're in the room, we basically like grasp it at once, right?
Right, right.
Like we just look at everything and get it all.
Yeah.
So it actually is a type of multitasking.
Oh, wow.
It's what our brain helps us to do. So another one that people think is special is the sense of self. So this basically means that it's the ability for a creature to recognize itself as an individual, like different from others. So one common way for us to test if animals has a sense of self is to paint on them.
Paint?
Yeah, to paint on their skin, fur, whatever.
Okay.
And what people find out is that when you put an animal with a mark in front of a mirror, if they try to mark it off, like wipe it off and stuff, they basically has a sense of self. So they recognize that it is him or herself.
Uh-huh.
But I think the most incredible things that we have is language.
Right.
We can speak. Like, this is already amazing. And this research has shown that no other creature can communicate with such freedom.
Mm-hmm. Like how we're able to communicate abstract things.
Yes.
It's really interesting. And we can talk about people that are not present with us.
Right. So for honeybees, again, they can only communicate with dance. But those dance, like, they are limited, right? But human interactions is open-ended. So basically it means that it has infinite combinations of words. We have countless possibilities of where this conversation is going, like what we're doing right now. Because it's not like scripted or anything. So it could has countless possibilities. Like, this could go anywhere. And it apparently takes a lot of thinking to do that and a lot of understanding. Because, I feel like a lot of the time we say taking things out of context, right?
Right.
It basically means that we need to understand the context and stuff. And that is just very impressive for a human to do that. So actually this year, on Google's I.O., you probably don't care about that, but they have this new technology. They try to make AI has open-end communications.
Okay.
Because what we have right now, like Siri and Google Assistant, it's like close-ended. We ask a question, they answer a question, and we end the conversation. We don't really have like this conversation that is like going back and forth, or like very colloquial, that is basically going nowhere but everywhere. And with this kind of open-ended type of communication, we can talk about feelings, which is abstract, like you said. And if we don't have a word, we just invent one.
Like Shakespeare.
But like, this is so incredible.
Right.
In this paper, it shows that most of our conversations are not based in present. It's in the past and future, like you said.
Right.
It's another thing that makes humans so special is that we can recall more things than animals.
Oh, okay.
And they call it semantic memory. It's like we can recall things. And we can mentally relive past events. And we have like multiple sensory details that we can count on and relive the moment. So, for example, you think of the time that you went to a movie theater. We not only think about the sound, we think about the look, the smell, maybe the temperature. This is incredible because we packed everything in one memory. It has multiple sensory details.
That is true. I've never thought of it this way. That's interesting.
Me neither. And now that I think of it, it's just like so incredible.
Right.
And no other animals appears to have such elaborate memories. So after the break, we're going to talk about how researchers observe the difference between human intelligence and animal intelligence.
Welcome back. Now we're going to see how researchers observe the difference between animals and human behaviors.
Okay, so a paper I saw, it's the researchers used contextual variables to understand the difference. So what are contextual variables? By definition, it is non-cognitive factor that accounts for the differences in observed behavior between species. So I don't really know how to explain beyond that. I'll just bring up the examples, which might be easier to understand. So the first one is reflexivity. And to make it more simple, it's same or different, or like matching. So for example, capital A matches lowercase a, capital B matches lowercase b. It's kind of a matching, right? So how they test animal is that maybe they show them a color, a geometric sign, or whatever. So basically, I show them this, see what their reaction is. So I record the reaction, and I show them another thing and record their reaction. So, after a time, we see if they can react the same every time we show the same thing. So, for example, I show blue, you pick your nose.
Okay.
So every time I show blue, you pick your nose. Basically saying that if an animal can do that. But, there are still some criticisms, of course. It's not very accurate, if you really think of it. It's like, what if this animal has seen it before?
Oh,
Like, it's not really their first reaction. Or what if it's a blue square in a yellow circle?
Okay.
So people have criticized this, but this kind of matching ability is one of contextual variables that people test. So another one is called symmetry.
Okay.
So basically it means that it's kind of like matching in a way, but it's like more than matching.
'Cause it's the same?
No, it's like not only you need to know how to match stuff, like capital A to lowercase a. You need to be able to match capital B to lowercase b by understanding that, we have capital A and lowercase a. I mean, it's not a very good example. So the example that was given in research paper I read is A1 corresponding to B1. So A2 must correspond to B2. I mean, it's basically the same, but I guess it makes more sense because, A is in the same category and B is in the same category, but A1 and B1 has like some similarities that A2 and B2 also has. So if A1 matches to B1, then A2 matches to B2. It makes sense. So it's basically saying if animals can do that. And in the research, Tamanaga trained 3 chimpanzees to match one of 2 sample colors to one of 2 comparison shapes. And they trained these animals for hundreds of trials and then tested them for symmetry over 12 trials. So, at the end, one of three trained chimpanzees performed above chance on the symmetry test.
Okay.
Basically saying that they are able to form this kind of symmetrical relations because there are chances, right? Like, naturally, you can guess it right.
Right.
But this chimpanzee performed better than that. So, I mean, it could be like very good luck, but if it's over a long time and it's about that, it basically means that it can do the symmetry tasks. So the last one, quite simple, is called transitivity. It's called transitivity. A very simple example is that if we have information that A is smarter than B and B is smarter than C, then you can have the logical construction that A is smarter than C. Even though nobody really tells you that. I mean, it's something that humans do all the time, but if you think of little kids, they don't understand that, right? Like, most of the kids don't really do this kind of transitivity tasks. So I guess that is one valid point to bring up. So basically, this last one means that you can relate two seemingly unrelated things together. They are related, but not given to you. Like, you don't have the information. All in all, I just feel like for the first part, we understand that humans are not that special in some ways. But we are also very special, that we are a lot smarter, a lot more capable than other animals, but we don't know why. And, we don't really have a neat explanation for that.
Right.
So we looked into how we really test animals and human intelligence. Even though it's kind of controversial, but we can see that humans are really better at these tasks, these like logical tasks. So I guess in a way we are smarter. I mean, it's kind of a known fact.
I guess all in all, it is interesting to see animals are able to do quite a lot of things. I was surprised by the things that animals could do. And perhaps they're gonna one day take over the world on this planet. We don't know that, but
for you, it's probably us destroying ourselves.
Yeah. So, and it is interesting to see how they're progressing too towards the way that we did in the past as well.
So for next week, we're gonna shift gears a little bit and talk about mental health.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Remember to like, subscribe, and share our channel.
Also, comment down below if you have any thoughts. You could click on the bell to get notified when we upload a new video as well.
Thank you and bye.